episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Well, broads.
Here we are again.
If you are watching on the YouTube, I'm not currently in prison, which I feel like I definitely look like. I'm in beige. The wall behind me is not the typical green.
They let you keep your Louis V necklace.
They let me keep the Louis V because, you know, didn't want to take it from me. My rings, all the good stuff. No, I came to visit my mother in the desert. Don't worry. We were all tested before. We are a COVID-free family. Blessings. But yeah.
Cool.
It's hot. It's hot here.
I'm going to Fresno tomorrow, and I don't know why we're subjecting ourselves to that either. Yeah, it's like back to the good old 103.
Yeah. That's
not the area code. That's the temperature.
That's not the area code. I love the desert, but yesterday, and I don't know if I'm just a baby because like we're just, used to the Southern California temperatures, but it was 113 here yesterday.
Yeah, no, that's unbearable.
And I was like getting a little lightheaded throughout the day, and I'm just like, am I pathetic or is this really hot?
No, it's really hot. I remember we went to, I feel like I've told this story a million times, but I went to Palm Springs for a friend's birthday and in June, and it was 117, and the air conditioning in our Airbnb broke. And literally all we could do was stand in the pool, like up to our necks. Like that's actually no exaggeration. That was the only time I felt some relief. And the pool was bath water. Still.
Well, it is because it's like cooking in the sun. So there's the pool, yes, and you're just floating heads, and you're just like, I just can't burn. But
it's horrible.
I bring up being in the desert because Clare is currently filming here with her men.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that, Jess.
And I'm like, first of all, am I spying around the perimeters masked? Maybe you'll find me there. Maybe you'll find me snooping. But all I can think about is as I'm outside going in back and forth in between the air conditioned house, God bless, is that they're out there in the full, in their full mask, in their gear, trying to get their flirt on, and it's like a 120 outside.
Wait, they're wearing their masks during filming? The guys are?
Okay, I don't know, because I saw a clip, I don't know if it was like on TMZ or something, and it was like Claire removes her mask while filming.
Oh, I saw that too.
But the whole crew, everyone else is masked, so everyone's masked up in this heat, and I'm like, what are you guys doing to these poor people? My God.
Oh, Jess, can you imagine? Okay, first of all, the crew, they've got to be sweltering and dying because they're all wearing black.
Oh my God. The amount of heat stroke that's gonna happen.
Okay, second, they're gonna have the guys doing all this dumbass shit on the group dates. They're going to be having them I don't know, put on like bubble suits and fight each other. Yep. There's going to be multiple hospitalizations throughout this.
I can't believe them wrapped in plastic. They're going to be passing out all over the place.
And you know how exhausting it is to spend like a whole day in the sun. Imagine poor Claire is going to have to like go back to her villa and like get ready and then facilitate like a whole night of evening date stuff. It's going to be exhausting.
Girl, I did not even think about that. When you're in the sun all day, you're like, I need to be asleep at 6, not go out on a full date and like exert my emotional energy. Oh, they're going to have to throw her in so many ice baths. Poor thing.
I mean, because even at night, it's like in the 80s?
Oh, no. It's like yesterday at 7:00, it was still 100 degrees outside. It was like 99. Now it was shaded because of the sun was setting, so it wasn't quite as like, it wasn't beating on you.
At least it's a dry heat, right? That's what we all say.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Her
There's
hair,
no
the makeup will stay. You're not going to be, even
her
though
hair's going to be sticking to her face. Oh my God, this just sounds absolutely
just
horrible.
A nightmare. Point is though, that there's going to be a lot of stress. People, the tensions are going to be so high. They should have done like a
resort in San Diego. What the fuck are they thinking doing Palm Springs in July?
I have no idea. Now, I will say the people of Palm Springs, I want to give major shouts out to any Palm Springs listeners that are listening. I mean, talk about people who have been so vigilant to be always masked up. Everyone is so gracious and cautious about social distancing constantly, like in the grocery. I mean, everyone's just so on top of it out here. But now, of course, they bring the whole crew of ABC out here to just,
insane.
I can't even believe it. Anyways, that being said, Claire, the photos of all her men have been released. And though we don't have all the bios, Bekah and I, we can't wait to discuss them. So we decided that Thursday's episode, we got to talk about the guys.
I'm so thrilled. My sister actually told me about it first. She called me and she goes, Bekah, she doesn't watch The Bachelor also. She just listens to our recaps, like a true
broad.
A true broad. And she was like, they've released the cast photos. She goes, but Bekah, they're not in the studio. Like they have them taking their own photos or something.
Yes. They're like,
so I got really excited, but then I went and looked at them and they weren't as exciting as I was like. Originally, I thought it was literally like people in their houses trying to do their own photo shoots.
No, it looks like some of these guys actually like maybe hired a professional photographer to come by, mask up and take that photo. But we're going to talk about that on Thursday. So excited. So tune in. Also, just, little game plan for everyone. Next week, apparently, they are not releasing a Bachelor Goat episode because ABC's decided to just be all over the place at this point in time and be completely inconsistent. But hey, guess what? Good thing is we were inconsistent too, and we didn't do Sean Lowe's Goat episode. And so they're re-airing that next week. So we'll be doing Sean's.
I can't believe they're just re-airing it.
I just don't understand why, why last week there's none, and then there's one this week, and then next week there's not one, and then next week there's going to be, the following week there is going to be one again. I don't understand. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Why didn't we do Sean's?
Because I think that was one of the.
That was That was the week after all the George
protests, and we were like, we're not. It's just not.
Maybe that's why they're re-airing it too.
The relevant topic that we need to. It's not the important thing that we need to cover. Speaking of that as well, coming up, we will be having that full anti-racism episode that will be coming soon. Hoping to get a great guest for a disability pride episode. Yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up. Yeah.
Also, speaking of Clare's season, is that officially airing in September? Is that what they said?
Yes.
And it's releasing on Tuesdays, Jess told me.
It's going to be real. Everything's topsy-turvy. I can't handle all this change.
And we're going to have to turn right back around because, let's see, September, I'm guessing it's going to air like September, October, maybe mid-November. Then I'm guessing January. Oh, wait. We don't even know how they're going to film The Bachelor if they're going to have to do the same scenario.
I'm not sure how they're going to film The Bachelor. Now,
Palm Springs filming in like October sounds fantastic.
Absolutely dreamy. Now, the other two we have to talk about before we get into the episode because I got sent this video a million times. Speaking of The Bachelor, did you see the pool parties that Tyler and Matt James were at this past weekend that they got filmed at?
No. I did see something on Bachelor Clues, the Instagram, where they were like, time to break our fake quarantine. And it was like pictures of Tyler and Matt. And I didn't know what that was referencing.
So there's video footage. And so it's not like, it's very blatant Tyler and Matt. And I got it literally, it hurts my whole body right now to say anything ill of our future Bachelor, but I just feel like we have to. I got sent this so many times, but there is video footage of Matt and Tyler, and it's not like, the quarantine crew where there's a handful of them all hanging out. It is a pool party with a lot of people.
Well, are they in Florida? Because in Florida, apparently, it's a free-for-all.
That's true. They are in Florida. So everyone's just doing their thing, I guess. I don't know. I guess over here, our mayor just said that we're probably going down into shutdown again. So full shutdown. So we're just living a different lifestyle over here. But yeah, so that video footage was released. And so obviously, they're getting some flack for it, especially
That's
since
funny.
they got like a trademark on Quarantine Crew, and there's like the paperwork of their trademark with like the people who are part of the Quarantine Crew, and they're clearly
Are you
not
serious?
and they're not
trademarking that?
There was some legal document that I saw, and it showed the members and like their names and whatever. I don't know.
They're starting an LLC.
Listen, these days, Photoshop
capitalize.
is a powerful tool, but it looked very real that they were like trademarking the Quarantine Crew, and the irony is that they are not quarantined.
You know how they're doing those things now, like the TikTok houses? I think
Yes.
that's maybe their idea. They're like, we're going to create like a Quarantine
It's like a
Crew
new hype house.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Team 10, but the Quarantine house.
Oh, wow. Team 10
Oh, wow,
throwing
Team
around
10.
the
If Shane
team
Dawson
lingo.
wasn't completely canceled, he'd come in and do a little...
Oh, my God. We could... That's a whole other...
Oh my God. There's so much there. It's just crazy, Bekah, because I feel like every week there's just so much that we just have to cover, and we just talk about The Bachelor.
I honestly like don't know what it is, but for some reason, because remember I was defending Clare when she was tweeting against Matt. I don't know why. I've always had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth about him. I have I don't have zero clue why. I know why. But so I'll be interested to see how I feel about him.
You know
this
why
season.
you have a bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah, just because I feel like it's such a stupid critique because everyone in The Bachelor is there for this. I don't really have any place to talk about this, but I just feel like I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like he's totally like in it for the fame. Like doesn't like I don't think he could give two flying fucks about getting a girlfriend, much less like a fiance or a wife.
Right. Well, I will say, I think I can.
I actually have no secure, I have no concrete
It's
reason
just
to say that or
it's the
think
relationship with Tyler Cameron, but they've been great friends for years.
No, I know.
And they work together.
I know. But like from the Quarantine Crew stuff, and even though I know that he was doing the shout outs for charity, that was just still weird to me. And like, you know, partying with the Kardashians kind of thing. Like, I'm just like,
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. It starts to get like not. It's like when we're watching these old versions of The Bachelor where the people were kind of just random people coming on the show. They didn't have any fame going in. That was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for Matt's season. After watching a little snippet of him with Tyler when Chris Harrison was talking to them, I think he's going to be such a good Bachelor. But now seeing this non-quarantine piece, I just hope everybody's safe. I just hope they take precautions.
Yeah, what if they go to film this season and he tests positive for COVID? Then what are they going to do?
I mean, Matt, this is my thing. Matt, are you look at me in the camera, Matt, okay? Think about, first of all, the safety of others, but also, what if something happens to you? Be careful.
Oh, I was going to say also he should know a little bit more about PR at this point. Like with Tyler, with everyone. Like if he's going to be the Bachelor, he probably should be a little more careful. I'm not going to like judge him for going to the pool party, but you should know at this point that like anyone can get photos or videos of you anywhere you go, anything you do. You should know that at this point.
Yeah, unless he's going to be the Bachelor who's just like, I don't give a shit. COVID.
First Black Bachelor, baby. I do what I want.
Seriously, it's like, fuck you, ABC. I'm just going to do what I want.
I wonder how much they paid him. Okay.
Speaking of quarantine, as I'm literally like, I passed my COVID test and I'm like dying of a cough over here.
Hacking cough.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, I'm really excited to talk about Brad's recap.
I love these old episodes, or I love these old season recaps.
Me too.
How dare I talk negatively about it?
Allie's next week too.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
I am going to relive my Frank fantasy, who is the love of my life on this show.
Yeah, see, and I'm excited because I know you always talk so much about Frank and I don't remember him at all.
But I am nervous that like I did maybe have poor taste back in the day. So what if he's horrible and I just have this fond memory of him because I thought he was a smoke show and he's the worst? I don't quite recall.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But I'm really excited for that.
I'm tingling. I can't wait. Well,
yeah, the old seasons are bomb.
they're so fun, and I can't wait to talk about Brad's right now. But before we hop into Mr. Womack, double woe.
Oh yeah.
We'll say this, broads. I never imagined that my loungewear wardrobe would become my full-time wardrobe, but it's 2020 and things are a little weird right now, so here we are. I'm living in loungewear, as most of us are, as you can tell by my current attire. But when I'm working from home, my high school Spirit Week t-shirts and Evan's basketball shorts don't quite cut it. I need to feel a little more put together for, some of these Zoom meetings we have. I got to look a little nicer, get my confidence on, and it's good to feel fully dressed. But that's why I'm living in my dress pant yoga pants from Bekah brand.
You guys, these pants are nice. Let me tell you, not only are they incredibly comfortable, you're going to feel like you're still in your PJs. They also look as polished and as sleek as every other work pant on the market. I think they might even be a little bit cuter, but that's just my opinion. There's so many styles and colors to choose from. There's literally a pant for everyone. You've got straight leg, skinny, cropped, my personal favorite, and they launch new styles weekly.
Ugh, they're so cute. So many fun styles. I like my little 6 buttons in the front.
Me too. I have those as well.
They're so cute. I love all the Bekah brand pants. When I wake up, I have absolutely zero motivation sometimes, but just putting on that outfit that looks intentional and professional is enough to get my act together. And all of their pants are made of wrinkle-resistant stretch knit, so they won't wrinkle when you're en route to the office, even if, again, that office is currently your home. Answering emails crisscross on your couch, you won't wrinkle. You'll be comfy. You'll look profesh. It's all good news.
Right now, our listeners can get 25% off their first order when you go to betabrand.com/chatty. That's 25% off your first orders for limited time at betabrand.com/chatty. You can find out why women are buying 5 different pairs of these pants. You can go to betabrand.com/chatty for 25% off.
Love. Broads, hands up if you're engaging in more happy hours than usual. And I know you can't maybe see, but both of my hands are up for this because that's just been what's happening. Those virtual happy hours. And listen, be it virtual or social distance, I'm all about the happy hours. But I'm not, however, all about the day after when my head is pounding and I wake up in a complete fog. So, broads, gonna tell you my number one trick to wake up feeling my best, and that is DHM Detox.
DHM Detox is the must-have vitamin if you're having one drink or a few drinks. You get to enjoy your night out, and the next day you're going to wake up without any of the nausea, no brain fog.
Feels like a brain frog.
I know. Speaking of brain fog, or headaches or anxiety, and it boosts your body's natural response to alcohol to help break down those pesky toxins. And it uses only natural ingredients, antioxidants, and vitamins.
All you have to do is take those 2 capsules after your first couple of drinks, and DHM Detox gets right to work. Plus, they come in those convenient to-go packs, which are so perfect for tossing in your purse or bag or throwing in your suitcase if you're traveling. And with DHM Detox, losing your next day to a hangover is 100% a thing of the past.
So how important is your next day, broads? For just a couple dollars, you can wake up feeling fine after drinking, and they have free shipping on all U.S. orders. So DHM Detox is a risk-free purchase. So if you aren't satisfied after taking the product, they'll give you your money back. So you got nothing to lose. It's a no-brainer. And I've got you 20% off. I've got you 20% off your first order. Just head over to dhmdetox.com and use promo code chatty at checkout. That's dhmdetox.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to at DHM Detox on Instagram also. All right.
Brad. Okay.
First of all, the zaddiest of all zaddies.
I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? It pains me to say it because I don't want it to be true, but he is the type of guy physically, and I hate this about myself, but if I would have been at a bar and that guy would have come up and spoken to me, I would have been tongue-tied. Like I would have been
totally.
like, he looks like such a douche. What an asshole. No. And then he comes over to me. I'm like, oh my God, hi. Like it.
No, he's like just classic, like hot white guy, hot. Like it's just yeah. Ken doll kind of hot.
He's
but
beautiful.
I'm a sucker for it too.
I can't.
I also really like his personality. And I know he got so much shit for the first season, but like, I don't have any problems with him. He's not canceled.
It's so funny, B, because I watched both seasons, and of course, it feels like so long ago. It came out 2007, which is the year that I graduated high school. So it just feels like so long ago. But I remember being like, wow, what a dick, and having all these like negative feelings towards him. And I don't know if it's the way that they edit these GOAT episodes, but I'm kind of like, I don't hate the guy.
Me neither. Not at all. I didn't watch either of the seasons, so I'm actually loving it. Same with, Trista and whatever his name was.
Ryan.
No. The first Bachelor.
Oh, Alex. Oh,
Alex.
Yeah. About the first.
I didn't
Bachelor.
watch either of those, and I had so much fun watching the recap, and I felt the same way about this too. It's kind of great because I actually didn't really know how they ended.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's weird because it's like you feel like there's so many pieces that you don't get that you wonder how much ABC is like crafting a narrative.
Right.
You know, but with Brad, I found him to be very likable. I think part of it is the way he speaks. His tone is always exactly the same, and his cadence sounds like Ricky Bobby's from Talladega Nights. So, like, obviously he's got the Southern accent, but the way that he talks sounds like Ricky Bobby. Like, the cadence. So anything he says, even when he's being mean, I'm kind of like, he's kind of funny. I don't know why he's not trying, but he's kind of funny.
That's really funny, actually. I also think that I actually think he's a man of words. Like, I was listening to what he was saying sometimes, and like, damn, good speech. Or like, that was really like the right thing to say in the moment. I was actually like, you know, maybe it's the Southern accent or the fact that he does speak in that sort of like slow cadence way.
It's almost a little like presidential.
Yeah, but then when the stuff he's saying, I'm like, oh, that's actually like, that was good call, buddy. Like, that was the right thing to say in the moment. I cannot say the same about some of the other Bachelors, you know, but I was actually like, I feel like he handles these situations pretty well.
Well, we didn't really see it in this episode in this GOAT episode very much, but the second season that he comes in, so obviously there's the first season, which is very fuzzy to me, but the second season, I remember during the first intro episode, he talked so much about getting therapy and how his therapist was like, and I could be I could be making this up in my brain, but I'm 99.9% sure, because maybe it was a running joke that I had with my friends, but I'm like 99% sure that he was like calling his therapist, like you'd see it on the show, and he would bring his therapist up constantly because he was like this newly invented man who had discovered therapy and was like, I'm healing. So he was like always bringing up his therapist in the second season, and I was just waiting for her to show up on like a one-on-one date.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I hope that was actually a thing.
Again, it might have just been me sitting with my girlfriends just like talking, and this was what I was creating in my brain.
Doesn't seem crazy, because then when they did the interview with him, he's like, I still need a lot of therapy. I'm like, and he was being 100% serious, you know? Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Good for him.
He was very open and direct about his therapy second season, which I was like, okay, we have a new Brad who's discovered himself through therapy.
Speaking of which, when we started out season one, or the recap of season one, I was really confused because he was talking about his parents getting divorced, and suddenly he was like really poor. And I was really confused about that. I was like, why was that the case? And then of course it comes out when they begin this, oh my God, the recap of the second season where he's like, yeah, my dad just dipped out for 5 years. Oh,
I know.
Jeez.
I know.
But like, yeah, at the beginning of the first recap, I was like, I don't really get what happened here. And then, you know, I was thinking at the beginning of the recap of the first season, I was like, oh my gosh, imagine watching a season of The Bachelor with someone that like you've never seen on any of the other seasons before. And then I was like, oh wait, that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Again.
But the thing is, we still see him on Matt on social media.
That's true.
We're going to be getting interviews with him before. It's such a trip. I wonder when they stopped doing that. I think we talked about this last time, but like when they stopped putting using people that were like brand new. Like I love the idea of someone when all the women hopped out of the car and they were like, no idea who this guy is, but as Chris Harrison said, the most handsome man in America. And I was like, this time, Chris, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Maybe they probably stopped around the first Bachelorette season, I'm guessing. Sometime around then.
Yeah.
Because there was nowhere else before pre-Bachelorette era, there was nowhere to pull men from.
Very true. He was, though, post first Bachelorette season.
Right.
I believe. Maybe yeah.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, 2007.
Yeah, I guess that's...
Yeah. I don't know. They just found him, but... Brad Womack, he is the owner of a couple of bars, a couple of nightclubs. Which the sirens go off immediately in my brain when I love a bar owner. A nightclub owner makes me a little nervous. Don't know if I want to be in a relationship with a nightclub owner. Bar owner, I would just become like the regular that they'd be like, well, Jessica's always here, just lingering around the bar.
I mean, yeah, he seems like he's thriving now.
Seems like he's still doing well. That kitchen was very nice.
Was.
But yeah, okay, the fashion, first of all, in the very first episode, I do have to make note of that. Somehow.
Okay, wait, but what is his second season, 2007?
No.
Or his first?
I think his first season was 2007.
Because they said something, so his second was 2010? Because they said it was 3 years apart.
Oh, yeah, maybe then. Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter. But anyway, I was just curious about that. Oh, yeah, the fashion.
I mean, Bekah, can I ask you something? Was there any time between Alex Michelle's season and his? It was like, I forgot how between like 2002 and 3 to 2007, nothing changed and it was horrible.
The hairstyles were like exactly. The hairstyles are like exactly the same.
There were a lot of the drippy chandelier, like the matching necklace and earring sets that were like very drippy chandelier.
Which, by the way, I feel like they still style the Bachelorettes like that.
Yeah, it's too much. A lot of satin, very shiny dresses. People
and also like polyester blends.
Yeah, a lot of poly blends.
Trying.
They were, I guess, seriously. But they also like I felt like Emily and Chantel, I feel like by the way, they go in between calling her Chantel. I
can't remember any of.
It was very difficult for me. They were two of the people that I saw with the gowns for the first time at that final rose. It was almost like everyone was doing these short dresses beforehand, and I was like, "Where's the gowns?" But they decided to pop off with the long dresses that time.
Well, yeah, I wonder when they started having the stylist too for that final rose ceremony, because I think I've told you they don't have anyone like helping you throughout the season, but then on the finale they have a makeup artist, I think like a hairstylist, and they also take you to go pick out dresses.
Everyone just looks completely different all of a sudden in the fight. They're they have brand new dyed hair and like full Botox.
You are already gorgeous, but the glow up is just striking.
Like, what happened to you? Okay, so
all right, let's talk about I'm like, how into detail should we go with the first season?
I did want to say this. Hi, Bachelor. We ask for diversity and you send us a goat episode that is Bekah.
Every single person on
maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but we're on both seasons. Was every single person white?
At least every single person in the recap, that's for sure.
Every single person. So ABC just does double middle fingers. Oh, you asked for a diversity pledge and we told you that we'd actively doing it.
Let's take it back to the good old days of 2007.
Let's check out this goat
where we didn't have to do shit.
And literal zero diversity. And when I say zero, I mean zero.
The most diversity we see is like, oh, there's a few brunettes thrown in with the blondes. Like, oh shit.
Oh, and that's so funny because I remember now that you're saying that, I remember it kind of being a thing where it was like, wow, there are, like when there would be a season where there were more brunettes, you'd be like, oh my God, ABC.
Diversity. For real. Thank you for representing others. Wow.
I feel so seen with my brown hair now all of a sudden.
That actually like was, I still kind of, like, even on Ari's season, I was like, oh, wow, there are, like, a lot of, like, brown-haired people here. How ridiculous is that?
I cannot, now that you're saying that, I'm having vivid memories thinking certain seasons being like, wow, look at, there's a lot of brunettes, and wow, I can't even, holy shit. Anyways.
I did notice that, like, his final two of the first season and that other girl that was a finalist of the second season, they all kind of looked the same to me.
Yes.
Those three brown-haired girls, and I couldn't really, like, tell them all apart.
They all have very similar vibes. Minus Emily Maynard. Everyone he chose kind of look, and then the woman that he's with now has kind of that similar look.
It does seem like he has a type.
Brad has a type.
Well, we were cracking up watching it last night because it just seemed like he was trying to keep his dick in his pants the whole time through night one. He is just like, I am falling for 17 women right now. It was hilarious.
When he went up to the edge of the pool and the girl was just like, I think you should take your shirt off. He was like, oh my.
Pants off. She said pants off. And he's like, I'm 100% down, but I don't know if I should do this. Like,
he was literally just looking around at what everyone was going to look and say. And he was just like, oh, well, oh my.
I love him. I love his energy. He's just cracking up about the toes girl.
Got her toes on the table. I mean, wow. There were some the toes on the table, and then a second season they had the girl with the vampire teeth.
Oh, that was weird.
I was like,
and that was a weird cut. I was like, are we not going to get any explanation about that?
Are we going to find out? I don't recall if they were real or not. And also ABC, okay, so there's no diversity. You're sticking with blondes, but we're going to go alt, and we're doing some vampire emo chick with blonde hair and fangs. Night one.
Okay, I want to know what you think about this. Do you think Brad's more, and I was really studying the episode trying to figure this one out. Do you think he's more into dominating or being dominated?
You know, it's a tricky one because he was going back and forth quite a bit with the type of women he was choosing. You'd have the very like soft-spoken. I think personally, he's a man who likes many types of women, and I think
yes, I think that's true too.
He likes a variety. I mean, only blonde or brunette, granted, but a wide variety of different personality types of women. And I think he likes being dominated and being the one who is dominated. But I think he seems to choose. He seems to go with the one who's more soft-spoken. But I think ultimately probably the one who's the tougher one is better for him.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you see, especially in the second season, too, I know he said he didn't feel any pressure or anything.
He tried to make that very clear.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's like 10 years later. You can say whatever the fuck you want. We really don't care.
Calm down. There's probably not that many people watching this, Brad.
But where was I going with that? I feel like he probably did have the pressure to, like, pick the right girl. Sure. And like make the right decision. But I bought it when he was saying he was so heartbroken over Emily. I was like, well, that makes sense. She's a dime. And like, I could totally see him being, and he really seemed, when he was talking about it, he made it seem like he really was pretty heartbroken.
And he definitely seemed like he immediately was like bonding with little Ricky. Okay, we're going to talk about that one.
Okay.
Because that was my favorite part of the whole episode was the little Ricky scene, because I couldn't stop imagining something in my head, and it was the sweetest scene, and we'll get there.
Okay, great.
Okay, so should we just talk about kind of the tops for the first season?
Totally, yes.
Okay. So there's Deanna.
Yeah. She seems like someone out of like a rom-com to me. Like the things that she was saying and like the way she, her little perfect Southern accent. Yeah, total rom-com.
Night one, they both have like, they sound similar. They kind of have similar energy. She does the thing in rom-coms where she looks up or her head is tilted and she always looks down.
Yeah.
When she talks.
Yeah.
She does like that I don't know. It's a certain
the
thing.
Chin angle kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember falling for her hard. Like I was very attracted to Deanna.
She's gorgeous.
Deanna's my type energy wise. Like I love her voice. Her voice is like almost like not like raspy, but it's a little bit deeper. And she just kind of had this very like confident, calm energy.
Oh yeah. I was
remember
instantly
at the time. Yeah. I remember at the time being like, I am attracted to
I
this
was
woman.
instantly suspicious of her. I'm like, what the fuck is she hiding? Because she seems way too perfect. She's got skeletons in her closet. I've got to get to the bottom of this. This seems like way too full package.
Oh yeah, I was proposed already. Like, call me Mrs. Pappas.
Is that her last name?
I think so. It's Pappas.
Well, with her fun family and everything, I was just like,
you're like, this feels like a Hannah Ann situation to me that someone's buried underneath the house.
Yeah, and actually she. Not that she has Hannah Ann vibes, but it sort of reminds me of that. She just seems like a little more maybe like mature or something. Not that Hannah Ann's immature. I don't know. But she definitely has like a similar vibe.
They do kind of.
Did you notice though when she was saying she was in love with him, she like was blinking a lot?
Yes.
That was strange to me.
I'm like, is this Morse code?
She was seriously like, I think I'm falling like in love with you. It was like really intense blinking. I'm like, are you lying?
Yeah, because that's a tell,
it seems like
right?
a tell. It seems like it was a very obvious facial like.
We should have a body language expert on one of Clare's seasons because I think your episodes, excuse me. I think you're right. I think blinking is a tell because I feel like I've heard that before and then I'm automatically very self-conscious of how much I'm blinking and then I start blinking more because I'm like, people are always gonna think I'm lying. Like I swear to God I'm telling the truth. Just never blink, just dry eyes to hell.
Well, because I didn't know what happened season 1, I had no idea about anything. I sort of thought like, oh, is she gonna reject him? But then I remembered I don't think anyone.
I think there's been one season.
Madison. I don't think anyone's ever rejected them at the altar.
I think there's been one season. I think one, and I can't remember who it is. I'm gonna look it up after, or Broad send it on over if you know off the top. But I think there's been one season where the person rejected the proposal. And
Very interesting.
I feel like it was around that time too. Like I feel like I was early college years. But yeah, so there's Deanna. I mean, I remember watching the season and being pretty convinced that he was going to pick Deanna.
That seems like sort of the obvious. Who's the other girl?
Jenny the gymnast. She
Jenny
was always
the laugh girl. That's just what I was calling her.
Yes. So we can talk about Jenny. Jenny was the other one who Brad liked. He said he just immediately fell for her laugh. And I was like, not to be a total bitch, but for realsies.
Thank you for saying the words that I would have said much more brutally. You said not to be a bitch, but for realsies? Seriously?
I was like, after he said that, I paid like very specific attention to the laugh, and I was like,
me too.
I feel like the production was also trying to hint at us, like we were all scratching our heads about this one.
That is so funny.
Unless it's the opposite. You know how sometimes when something about you or something about a person that you're like into bothers you, so you specifically say like, oh my God, I love her laugh, because her laugh actually bothers you because you're trying to convince yourself that it doesn't drive you nuts. I've done this before.
What have you done it with?
I've done it with someone's personality.
I love how like open and like honest and kind of loud they are.
I love how in this specific case, it was just like, no, God, I love how reserved he is and how he just kind of has a blank stare always and just looks off into the distance and doesn't engage in conversation. He's so mysterious.
That's depressing.
I know, he was such a smoke show though. I had to just try to ignore the personality. Anyways, but Jenny, yeah, I remember watching it seemed very obvious, at least to me, that he was going to choose Deanna, but Jenny was very, obviously there's the laugh, but Jenny had such, I mean, we see it in her interview with Chris Harrison later. She was like, she is so spunky. Yeah. She has very she's got the sparkly eyes, the big smile, like, just like
she's fun.
She's so fun, like your life cheerleader, like a great friend to have. But yeah, it definitely seemed like it was gonna. Oh,
no, we're just having a baby delivered.
Cute baby delivery.
Not that kind of delivery, thankfully.
Not round 3.
No. Oh, he's so cute and he's sleepy right now. He's precious. Anyway, so yeah, she seems like she just has such a sweet personality.
Yeah, she's super, super sweet. And I loved their little interview with Chris Harrison afterwards. But
yes,
she definitely was very passionate when she told cute kisses. Hi, Gray.
I told him not to interrupt the recording.
Well, at least it was affection. But yeah, when she was talking to Brad, when Jenny was talking to Brad and opening up about her feelings, it was very emotional. There was a lot of tears and a lot of crying faces, and Brad basically just like stroking her, being like, it's okay, you're gonna be okay. And I'm like, this seemed to me very much like we're done, but I have to keep this going. And she felt confident that it was going to be her, but I was like watching it back, I'm like, this doesn't feel fully reciprocated to me.
Did he confirm whether or not he actually was planning on it being Deanna up until he did we figure out where the timeline was of when he decided that he wasn't going to pick anyone?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think that
got clarified.
No, and I think that's what Deanna was saying when Chris Harrison interviewed her, and she was like, I just want some sort of clarification about what happened, because the night before he basically was like, you're going to like what happens tomorrow. And then she's like, he left me.
So you see this. Okay. So first of all, his breakup with Jenny.
Yes.
I thought it was a great breakup on his part.
Yeah. I thought
he said what he needed to say.
He's very direct, and I appreciate a direct person.
And he doesn't seem to like play games.
No.
I hate when people do that, where they're just like, well, let's talk about it. Like, let's still be friends. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, he didn't do that,
He didn't do so much of the typical, here's my entire speech that's like super emotionally engaged and you think I'm going to choose you, which I liked. He said a couple nice things, but then he was like, unfortunately.
I think we both know where this is headed.
Don't laugh. Please don't laugh. You know how it gets me.
So, yeah, I thought he did a good job. I mean, I also noted that when he broke up with Deanna, too, he didn't say any of the, he didn't really chase after her at all. He wasn't like, oh, maybe we can try to continue it. He was just like, well, this was all very sad. And then just goes about his business. But, okay, anything else to note about Jenny's breakup? I felt like it was pretty straightforward. She handled it well also.
She handled it so beautifully. The only thing I noted was, wow, the smoky eye was hot then. It was so hot. And I was like, she did a gorgeous smoky eye, or her makeup artist. And I was just thinking about how I did that every single day.
The blending. That was
blending
some
brushes.
2007 blending.
Yes, Mac on 10 always.
Oh my God, that's when Mac was so, not that it's not hot now, but Mac was
so
hot.
So hot.
Wow.
So then Deanna, okay. I was screaming rewatching this back.
I felt like he was going to pick her, and then it was literally like I felt like I watched him react to bile rising in his throat. Like I felt like he was about to like propose, and all of a sudden he's like, I think I'm gonna throw up. Holy shit, I can't do this. Oh my fucking God.
It's coming up.
And then he walks away, and in that moment when he walks away, he's like, holy fuck, I can't do this. I'm not fucking proposing to her. And you just like watch all that happen.
And it was, can you imagine being her? He walks away and he's like, ugh, and adjusting his tie and like pacing in circles, like
he doesn't even go talk to a producer or anything. Literally just like does a little lap.
He self-soothes. I swear to God, he slapped his own ass to like encourage himself to get back in the game and be like, you got to put an end to this, okay?
I mean, shit was crazy.
The fact that he didn't walk off, that he didn't pull like, I don't know what half of the bachelors do, and they're like, I need a moment, and they walk off and they discuss with Chris Harrison, they discuss with the producers. Brad's like, no, I'm too smart for this shit. I know that you guys are going to try to manipulate me and try to get me to for sure propose to her, okay? So I'm doing this my way. I'm going to run around this ring 4 times, smack my ass, and get back in the game and end it with her.
And he does it.
And
what did he say? How did he deliver that news?
I mean, he basically was just like, I just want to let you know, like, I so badly want to pick you up and twirl you around and get on a knee and propose to you, but I have to tell you goodbye.
Savage.
I couldn't believe it.
Sorry to everyone who I just screamed into your ear or your car with that hideous cackle.
I mean, just shut it down. And then and then she was just like, poor Deanna was just like, I think the difference is that I'm sure and you're not. And I was like, well, that's an understatement. To be somewhat clear. And then he was just like, can I walk you to the limo? Can I walk you to your car? They were both in gold too. Like they were so ready. It was so ready to be an engagement. He had picked out the ring. They had him match his suit and his tie with her gold dress. Like ABC 2007 was living. They're like, we're going to have this moment. God. And he just shut it down. And then in one of, again, my most favorite scenes, I had a few during this episode, him sitting like crisscrossed on the most elaborate bachelor proposal set I think they've ever had, just by himself. And he was like, and he goes, well, today was pretty brutal.
Again, the understatements. I love it. I love
him so much. He was killing me. Oh my God.
Well,
and then, then Deanna and Jenny chat with Chris.
I was cracking up, but they're 2 very different aesthetics side by side.
Yeah,
but they're also seen. Yeah, it was hilarious. They both were so very confident, and I like both. I really like Jenny's. I like both their personalities. They seem like they're both doing well. I gotta say,
Deanna, Jenny, and then cut to Brad's second season. We had some wonderful women. Like. There were some great women that he just said no to all of them, but they seem to be doing really well.
Yeah. Is there anything to note from those interviews in particular?
I don't think so. I mean, then no. The only then interview afterwards is then Brad's first interview with Chris Harrison.
Yes, which let's get to that after.
Yes. Yeah. But first, let's take a quick pause. Okay, so Broads. I am all about grocery delivery lately for obvious reasons, but I think this is something I'll continue long after the world returns to normal. And it's something that I was using before everything happened because it is so convenient. And my absolute favorite is none other, hands down, than Thrive Market. Seriously, if you're looking for clean products, if you have any sort of dietary preferences or restrictions, this is the place for you. Vegan, gluten-free, plant-based, organic. Thrive Market has it all. They tailor to over 70 different dietary values, making it so easy to shop for exactly what you want and what your specific body needs. I have a really good friend who has a lot of food allergies and absolutely loves Thrive Market because she's able to find everything she needs with her limitations. Love Thrive.
Is she me?
Is it Bekah?
Well, it's not, but I love Thrive too. Thrive is the only place I shop for when I'm stocking up on pantry staples. They've got everything you need in one convenient place, and the ingredients are the most amazing quality. I think I just bought about literally 15 cans of coconut cream from Thrive. Fun fact.
Sounds delicious, whatever you're cooking up.
Just lots of smoothies. And not only can you get all the best food, they also have become my go-to for home essentials. Like non-toxic cleaning supplies. And I also get their compostable trash can bags. Fantastic. They've got tons of great bath and body products too. Obsessed with all their clean organic beauty products. Also order a lot of those from Thrive.
Yes, and by the way, on Thrive Market, one of the best things to me is that it's products that you already are in love with and buy, but normally when you buy, they can be more expensive. And if you're a Thrive Market member, you're going to save 25 to 50% off those traditional retail prices. This isn't new brands and products. You're saving 50% off the products that you already are buying and loving. And that happens every single time. And they also offer carbon neutral shipping for free on all orders over $49, in addition to their membership matching program, which provides free memberships to someone in need. They've also raised over $750,000 through their COVID-19 relief fund. This company, They have their priorities in line. We love Thrive, everything about them. And I know personally, I feel good purchasing from them from start to finish.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a proud Thrive Market member, and you will be too. And you can try it risk-free by going to thrivemarket.com/chatty. Join today and you'll get up to $20 in shopping credit towards your first order. And that's spelled THRIVE market.com/chatty. That's where you can start your risk-free membership and get up to $20 off your first order. thrivemarket.com/chatty.
So back to Brad. Brad is sad. Sad Brad. And he...
See, okay, this is the thing. I know people gave him so much shit, but this is what I've always said, is I have much more respect for someone who knows that they can't make that commitment.
Yep.
And is going to be honest about it instead of just faking some bullshit and breaking up 2 months later. Cut it off.
It's the same reason I think why you and I tend to like more of the quote unquote villainous characters, because I'm like, well, I appreciate someone who's at least being somewhat transparent and
Straight
authentic
up.
in the process.
Yeah.
And younger Jessica was watching Brad's seasons, I think, with not the scope of I'm going to investigate myself. I'm just like, I'm gonna
eye, yes.
Exactly. I'm just eating the narrative that ABC is spoon feeding me. He's bad. He's a bad guy. And then everyone, hated
Didn't
him.
pick wife. He's bad.
Yeah. And like you said, okay, well, he didn't feel confident about choosing either one of them. So at least he didn't just choose Deanna to feel like he looked better and then dumped her afterwards.
Totally. He went with his gut.
But he got a lot of shit, and we see footage of him looking sad watching the season back on his leather restoration hardware couch. He's having a rough time, but then he talks about discovering therapy after he says he fell into a depression and was having panic attacks, and he said everyone hated me, and I felt so sad for him.
I know. He said it was one of the darkest times of his life, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I was happy and it seems like he's very happy too that first season did push him to go get help. And I loved that he was just dropping it on national television. He's like, I have trust issues because my dad said he was going to take us out for the day and then didn't see him for 5 years. And I was like,
Yeah.
Holy
shit.
shit.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, okay, look at that radical self-awareness and honesty. You go, Brad.
You go, Brad.
Yes.
Also, I know this sounds not as big of a deal now because, 2020, but around that time, a guy who was, quote unquote, masculine, bar owner, nightclub owner, Mr. Workout, stud muffin. I mean, we weren't seeing a lot of men talking about self-awareness and talking openly about therapy at all.
We still don't on The Bachelor. And I still see plenty of leads who definitely need male leads who
therapy.
Please stop emotionally dumping on this woman and go see a professional. Thank you.
It's not shameful. I also need therapy, which is why I recognize you need therapy.
I thought you were about to say, which is why I recommend Talkspace. Talkspace can get you.
Talkspace.com/chatty.
Get $100 off your first month.
Slide into his DMs. Just not to...
that would be perfect for him while he was on The Bachelor.
I know, seriously. Not to really pour salt on your open wound, but I do have a code.
I think you could really benefit from this. We've been seeing interviews from now. Can we agree that he looks like a sexy millennial pastor now?
He does. He definitely has Carl Lentz vibes.
I don't know who that is.
He is one of the sexy Justin Bieber pastors.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, exactly.
I'm in the middle of writing a script about all of these pastors, by the way. I'll fill you in later.
Love.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yes. It's going great.
It's so cool. Wow. He looks like one of them. He could fit right in there. It was something from nice casual look. I was like, oh, you're gonna about to step up to a nice teak wood pulpit.
Yes.
On 2 p.m. on a Sunday. You're from that
so
chill
right.
church.
You're so right. It's the face structure and
yes.
it's the slight amount of 5 o'clock shadow that's always
yes.
perfectly groomed
yes.
and the hair.
And the right
yes.
age too.
The perfect
It says
age.
wisdom, but still hip.
And I'm more attracted to him 3 years later. And I'm more attracted to him 15 years later.
Oh, hell yeah. Agreed.
The beard was a little big for me as it is now, but if I shave that beard, honey, yes, and
at least
please,
that beard was groomed properly.
It was groomed. He puts a lot of beard oil in that. He takes fine care. It smells nice.
Yes, 100%. He's definitely someone who actually uses beard oil, which seems like a weird thing that you only get people for Father's Day gifts, but no one actually uses it,
I would get him it for a Father's Day present, no problem.
Yeah, and he would actually use it, so props to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, round 2.
First woman out of the limo happens to be who he picks in his top 2 and who slaps him across the face.
See, does he like to be dominated? Who knows?
I mean, he picked her, and this was their first interaction, and I was disturbed by the slap, but I was also impressed. I didn't know how to feel, but then later when we see her interviewed,
I felt
and she was
secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, it was a lot. I didn't know how to handle it. But in her interview later, she was like, yeah, it was just nerves. I meant it to be kind of like a funny joke. And then I actually made contact. And then once you make contact, you have to stick with it. You're like, yeah, I meant that.
Yeah. And because she was nervous, it made her come off as really aggro.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you're scary.
Like, oh, geez. Can you imagine your first interaction when you're so nervous? And he was so nervous that whole night.
Yeah.
He just had to explain himself.
Not quite the vibe of night 1 of the first season where he's like, woohoo!
No, not the nightclub owner energy. That's for sure.
No.
But
I thought he handled it really graciously.
He was so gracious. He realized that everyone coming out of the limo, he assumed and expected that they were going to have questions.
Everyone would hate him.
Yes. He acknowledged that they deserved answers before stepping into this, and he provided answers for everyone.
He did.
And he really, I feel like his therapist taught him well. He had to do the legwork, and it was exhausting, but he did it because it was something that he wanted. He wanted to be the Bachelor again, and it's just was going to be part of the deal. And he turned those women around real fast. They hopped out, and they were just like, ew, fuck him. And by the end of the night, one of the blonde girls was just like, he's here for the right reasons, and I think I'm in love with him.
I know, 100%. You can tell he's totally here for the right reasons. And all the other girls are like, totally.
He's so here. And I'm like, you know what? That would have been me.
Same.
I would have been like, how dare he? What a pig. Like, I would have been so grossed out by him.
Oh, you better believe I'd be telling everyone before, like to all my family and friends, I'd be like, it's Brad again. Can you believe it? And I'd be like, oh my God, but he's so hot. I'm so excited.
But literally as soon as I'd come out of the limo and like make eye contact with that face, I'd be like, their loss, honestly.
I'd love to be dumped by him.
I would be honored. Well, then I remember we're seeing Ashley H, who is one of our bachelorettes, later.
Yeah,
on
and I
in the
didn't
season.
even know that. So when they did the interview with her and her husband, I was like, who are these people?
You're like, don't know you. She was Bachelorette. Emily was a Bachelorette. Michelle Money was on Bachelor Pads. Like, I mean, we had it was a season that was stacked.
Let's talk about Michelle Money, because she was on Bachelor Pad, you said? She was also on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes.
I definitely remember her on Bachelor in Paradise because she was the guy who looks like a rubber duck. He does. I'm not trying to be a bitch, but what was his name? Cody? How am I remembering this?
I don't know. A rubber duck is the best. Oh my God, I can't.
What was his name? I have to find out his name. That way people can look him up.
I don't remember. I don't.
I swear it was Cody. It was Cody.
Wow,
his name's
your memory.
Cody. Sometimes things just come to me. Cody Sattler, Sattler. And when you look at the images.
Wait. Oh my God, he does look like a rubber duck.
I mean, the yellow shirt doesn't help.
He totally looks like a rubber duck.
Cody Sattler, look him up. Anyway, I remember her mostly from Bachelor in Paradise, and I'm pretty sure I did watch that season of Bachelor Pad, but I don't remember anything that happened. Well, first of all, with the eyebrows and everything, her look, I can totally see how she was immediately pinned as villain, even without her saying or doing anything. Hot as fuck. Love it.
Oh, no.
But
you know that, in my opinion, Michelle Money is the dimiest dime of all of Bachelor Nation.
100%.
Like, holy smokes. I remember seeing her walk onto the screen for the first time and be like, I want to marry you. I want to be you. I had all the feelings.
I was going to say, you guys kind of have similar vibes.
I have never felt more honored in my entire life. I've spent the past 10 years trying to look like her, so here we are.
I mean, and she's one of those, I remember, I think it was Ashley I who was saying that Michelle was she always knows about the latest beauty trends, can always help, as always helping people with their hair, knows about all that, had like a whole tower of makeup that she brought to Bachelor in Paradise. Love it. I
love Michelle Money. I've loved Michelle Money since the moment she stepped out of that
okay,
limo.
So you did love her on that season.
I loved her. And I remember I was watching this season in college, and all of my friends hated her. We had like a whole crew, and I was like Team Michelle Money always. First of all, that name, are you joking? Like, this is,
I know,
perfection.
Gray was like, that's her given name. I'm like, yes.
Michelle Money.
Born to be a star.
I mean, born to be a star. And her, when she pulled Brad, the scene where she pulls Brad before the rose ceremony into the room separately.
Oh my God.
Sits on his lap and goes, don't say anything. You're not allowed to talk. And basically anytime he tried to speak, she'd like shove him and was like, don't say anything. And then like was like, you better choose wisely, and like shoved her tongue down his throat. I mean, I was just like, this is what I need in this show.
This is some 2020 energy.
I love this.
I mean, yeah, she was great. And you can also sort of see, like I sort of saw how she probably quite easily got manipulated kind of into the villain. Not manipulated, but it's like everyone will have an offhand comment here, an offhand comment there. And I feel like you really see it in the case of Michelle, where you see how bits and pieces are taken here and there, pieced together to make her look evil. Like some of the villains I think really are kind of evil, but you can sort of tell with her how that was... things were not done in her favor.
Totally. She reminded me of Demi, like how they just say it how it is. And so because of that, then because Demi's quick-witted and she says it how it is, they made her to be out to be the villain. And I think that Michelle
feel
was
like
the same
they
way.
did. I don't feel like Demi got as much of the villain edit as...
No, not as much as Michelle Money. But in Colton's season, I feel like she definitely was, out of all of the women, was the most painted as the villain.
That's true. Even though, I mean, I think she came across as much more likable in Colton's season than Michelle did in Brad's. Like, I think Michelle probably had way more haters than fans.
Oh, for sure. But what was interesting, and I thought, you got to give Chris Harrison give him his point on this one.
Yeah.
You got to give a little tip of the hat to him. But if Michelle would have been in a 2020 episode, it probably would have looked more like a Demi situation.
Maybe.
Because Michelle, I remember, she had a lot of snarky things to say about some of the women, which so did Demi. But Michelle was like Demi, how they can say it in a funny way, and it's still sometimes it's charming, and you can tell that they mean it, but they're also joking, and it's Michelle. I remember her being like that.
I think one of the things Michelle didn't have going in her favor, though, is like this. Well, this is just my opinion, or what I'm remembering from Bachelor in Paradise too. Is I think maybe she had a little bit more insecurity, and like so that came across in certain ways as maybe being a little more like clingy isn't the right word I'm looking for, but maybe a little more like possessive.
Yes.
In like a way
For
that
sure.
maybe someone like Demi didn't exactly have, who was more of like a take it or leave it. But Michelle had maybe a little more of like like an insecure possessive thing that I think made her also look a little more like unstable or a little more like evil or something.
No, you're right, because Demi didn't have any of that like possessiveness with Colton at all.
And I think that really kind of took Michelle a lot more into villain territory because of that aspect. But either way, she was still entertaining as hell, and everyone loves a villain, even though no matter how villainous they are, everyone loves a villain.
Yes, it was one of those things I remember when I would watch it with all my friends. I loved Michelle Money, and everyone was just like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I worship her." And then they all were hating on her. But of course, as soon as Brad sent her home, as much as they were cheering, they were also like,
super bummed. There goes the season. Yeah,
they're like, "Oh well, okay. There's Michelle's gone now, so I guess we're really taking this seriously."
Well, so who were the other girls on his season?
Oh, can we talk quick though about Michelle, her interview with Chris?
Oh my God, yeah. So I had already been following along with Michelle because I saw what happened with her daughter, which was crazy.
Which, did you notice they showed the clip when she was telling Brad, "I have a daughter. I'm a single mom. Her name's Brielle. She was 5 when she went on Brad's season." But yeah, so go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no. Just it was crazy. She had a skateboarding accident and went into a fucking coma. Insane. And I was sort of I think she ended up being in the hospital for like a whole month. It was crazy. And they didn't know if she was going to have permanent brain damage or what. It was,
I mean, I followed along, not in real time. I didn't hear about it until like a few weeks in. And so then I was catching up and I was like, oh my God. And at that point she was doing better. But yeah.
They didn't know if she was going to be able to like walk again, talk again, that kind of stuff. And she's made like full recovery.
I couldn't believe it. Watching all the videos of Michelle in her car, like sobbing after it was like weeks into it. And it's like, my baby girl. Like, I mean, it was just one of those things where like, not to get like heavy, but I mean, when she's on the show with Brad talking about her little sweet one, it was one of those moments of like, oh, you just like appreciate the moments when everyone is in good health and all that. And it was just, I was just so happy. I started to cry when Chris Harrison was like, is she okay? And she's like, come here, honey. And she popped on the screen and she looks like she's doing great. And then Chris Harrison was like, hi, sweetheart. And it was this moment. I was like, okay, now the tears are starting to come. The mom tears are flowing. But anyways, I'm so happy for the family that she's okay.
Yes. And also that she now, has a whole family. Seems like she's really happy in her relationship and all of that.
Yeah. No, it's so lovely. Good for Michelle. Anywho, yes. So the other women in Brad's season.
Emily, of course.
Emily. Chantel, they go back and forth. And Ashley.
Yeah. I can't keep track of which ones are which, but
I struggle through. I'm never quite sure.
What are the key like things about Ashley and Chantel?
So Ashley was the one who's she worked at, was she a dentist? She was either a dentist or a dental assistant. And she was the one, she's very tiny and she's just like super like enthusiastic. And she was the one that he went on the...
all that extreme dates and stuff with?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
And then, or not the extreme one. She did the like carousel or the circus looking date.
Okay, wait, which is the one that he's saying he always has fun with? Is that one Chantel?
I think he said it with both, but
there was one girl here where he was like going scuba diving and was like doing this.
Ashley was the one who he had like a ton of fun with, but he could never quite get to that different level with her.
Oh, no, I'm actually thinking of Chantel. Yeah, okay. Ashley was the one where in the beginning he was really into her and then he felt like it burned out. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And then Chantel was the top two. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So you want to talk about Ashley?
Yeah.
But before we talk about Ashley, you want to take a quick pause?
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, broads, I've said it once. I'll say it a million times more. Teachers are incredible. If there's anything I've learned from the past few months, it is that. And I have the most amazing daughter, Ember. And let me tell you, she is fierce and independent and inquisitive, which I absolutely love. But I'll be honest, sometimes it's hard to keep up with her never-ending curiosity and questions. But like many parents, I've taken on the role of teacher for the time being. And that means I've been using KiwiCo to bring the learning to us with their hands-on project kits that are delivered right to your door. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that my daughter is absolutely obsessed. The second she sees that KiwiCo box at the door, screaming ensues, always.
Oh my gosh. KiwiCo crates are amazing for all ages. Ruth may be too young for school, but that doesn't mean she's too young to learn or too young for KiwiCo. We get their panda crates and absolutely love them. They encourage creative thinking and play, and they make all of that so easy. And with each of their age-specific crates, they're delivered right to your door, and they have all the necessary supplies and really easy to follow instructions, whether you're doing crafts or activities or like with the panda crates, they have great age-specific toys and all that stuff.
And that ease factor is a big one. I wouldn't exactly define myself as crafty, but with KiwiCo, I can definitely fake it. And I love doing these projects together with Ember at home, and it makes me just thrilled because she gets so excited to see what the theme is going to be. Her last crate was all about teaching her about how things glow, and we both had so much fun.
Oh my God, fun.
It was so cute, and her favorite project was like this little glowing mushroom that she made that you had to put out in the sun to basically charge. And so we started to talk about the sun and light, and then she had it in her room and she saw it would glow and then it would dim out and she put it back in the sun, and it was cool.
Fun.
We just started so many fun conversations, and it's great to watch her tackle certain complex topics, but then understand them because of the way that KiwiCo breaks them down.
Cool. Well, KiwiCo is redefining play with hands-on projects that build confidence, creativity, and critical thinking skills. And there's something for every kid or kid at heart at KiwiCo. You can get 40% off your first month on select crates at kiwico.com/chatty. That's KIWICO.com/chatty.
Oh, broads. Okay, so here we are, day 1 million of being in our homes mostly, and you might be running out of ways to pass your free time. And sure, there are always more books to be read or skills to master, but sometimes you just need a brain break. Or if you have a child and you haven't had any free time during this, sometimes you still just need a brain break.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do.
And that's when I turn to Best Fiends, the unique and exciting puzzle game unlike any other game out there.
Yeah, and Best Fiends is perfect for those quick brain breaks, whether it's just 5 minutes during baby's nap or whether you're in line somewhere or whatever. It has challenging puzzles to solve that keep your brain still engaged, cute characters to collect, and new levels added every day. And the nice thing is you can play as much or as little as you want, and you don't even need an internet connection to play. So it's really perfect for those times you find yourself, you know, waiting in a long line at the bank, which I had to do recently, or when you're waiting for that precious first cup of morning coffee to brew, anytime when you have a few minutes.
Anytime. And I'm so hooked on this. I love to compete with my husband and my sister. And unfortunately for them, I'm more than just a little competitive. So they don't stand a chance. I dominate. And if I don't, I will figure out how to. And like Bekah mentioned, this isn't a traditional gaming experience where you need to dedicate tons of time and learn all these secret hacks. It's simple, enjoyable, and requires zero commitment, but there's always new levels. So it's just never ending and wonderful.
And Best Fiends has thousands of levels already with new levels, events, and characters added every month. So it's hours of fun right at your fingertips. And you can even play offline, like I mentioned earlier. And with over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must play, and it's free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. So go download now. It's Friends without the R, Best Fiends.
I also would like to apologize to if it's loud, the sound of any sort of lawnmower or leaf blower. There's a gentleman, I think, gardening around the house, or someone.
I can't hear anything, so that's
okay.
Good.
I keep making eye contact with him and like smiling at him because the windows are big and open. No, and I'm just like, hello, but I think he thinks I'm staring at him, and I think he's wondering why I'm sitting here talking to myself with a microphone. But it's an embarrassing moment, and it makes me feel very vulnerable. It's like when someone catches you like taking a selfie. That's how I feel right now.
Oh, that's the worst. And you're like, do I play it off? Do I explain to them what I'm doing?
No, I act like a confident woman. Yes, sir. This is what I'm doing. I'm not talking recording to anyone else. I enjoy the sound of my own voice. It's a personal podcast. I listen to it when I fall asleep.
ASMR. Okay. Don't ask.
What can I say? It pays the bills. Okay, so let's talk Ashley. So Ashley and him had like a fun, playful relationship. I remember a lot of people really, really liking Ashley a lot. I thought she was fun. She wasn't my like top pick for him.
No, me neither. I felt very like whatever.
Yeah.
Watching
her and Brad had a similar, they both had a similar situation with their dads. So they definitely had that in common, which I'm sure would be like a really impactful, powerful thing to have in common with someone.
That's sort of the thing. It seemed like they had stuff in common, but not enough, or like not even enough interest in each other to propel things forward. And he sort of mentioned that. He was like, well, we were like, hey, are we going in the same like direction? I don't even know really what you want. Like, I think it seemed like it was better off as maybe just friends.
Yeah, it definitely had more of that energy to it. And I mean, my favorite scenes with Ashley and Brad, I will say, are the scenes when he was basically just encouraging her to like stop working and live that party lifestyle.
As a club and bar owner, I say you need to loosen up a little, chick.
He was just like, what are your plans? He's like, okay, so you got a lot of schooling. Okay, cool. And then how many days a week do you work? Do those include nights? So
have you ever
go to bed early?
Yeah. Have you ever tried just like taking 6 shots of tequila within 2 hours and like taking your top off and dancing on top of the table? I feel like that could really improve your quality of living.
How old are you? Okay, yeah. I remember that about 10 years ago, and I worked too hard and I didn't live that YOLO lifestyle and I didn't take enough shots, and now I really regret it. Look at where I'm at now. Round 2 of The Bachelor.
Learn from me and my mistakes.
People hate me now. And all I'm saying to you is people may hate you if you continue to work as hard as you do, Ashley. So, and you're seeing Ashley going like, well, you're really starting to make me question what I want in life. And I was like, keep doing your school and your work. It sounds like it's something you're passionate about.
And the breakup was interesting, or her response to the breakup was not awesome.
No, it definitely seemed like she was thrown off.
Yeah, she seemed shocked, actually.
It seemed like she definitely thought she was potentially taking this thing home.
Potentially Mrs. Womack.
She's like, I was pretty committed to ditching my work and being at your nightclub every single night.
I thought we were going to YOLO together. Yeah,
I thought I was only going to live once with you.
Definitely seemed like that's what she had in mind for the outcome.
She was not pleased. And he was not, he was trying to get out of her like, hey, do you want to talk? She's like, no. And he had to say goodbye because she wasn't willing to party hard enough.
He was like, okay, deuces.
I'm out. Well, they then catch up. Chris Harrison then catches up with Ashley and JP, which I know you didn't watch Ashley's season, but JP is who she chose on her season of The Bachelor. And
yeah, see, to me, like, I didn't even know she was the Bachelorette. So I was like, oh, who is this girl? Like, I didn't watch her. Yeah, season
and she chose JP, and they were one of the ones who stayed together. One of the few that have like done, the long haul. When they were talking about when they got married, I was like, oh, that's the same year Evan and I have got married. So they've been together for, like they said, like 8-9 years marriage wise. But they seemed like they've been in quarantine too long together.
I was going to ask you. I didn't know how to do it in a rude way. I was like, they seem happy to you.
They seem like quarantine is maybe taking a little bit of a toll. And you know what? I understand. It's one of those
he's like, how
downs.
long have they been together? And they're like, of hundreds of years. I'm like, hey guys, I know a decade is a long time, but pretty sure you got some more decades to live together.
Is hell eternal? Because it feels like it.
Like, it seems a little depressing.
Now, then when Chris Harrison said to JP, like, hey, I'm glad you're okay, then I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And then I looked up that
COVID?
No, he recently, in like at least the past like year or two, was diagnosed with this rare neurological disorder. Where all of a sudden he was like temporarily paralyzed for a long time, and they thought that he was going to stay that way, and he had to go through like tons of therapy. So then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, they've just been through. They've been through the fucking ringer. They're just
that makes
exhausted.
Sense.
They have children. They're in quarantine. He went through all of this shit. They're probably worried about him safety wise too. I'm sure his immune system is somewhat compromised. And I'm like, okay, they're just like, this is the reality of like people who it's just been a rough time.
That makes sense. That makes me feel better because I was
because I remember the last time I saw them together interviewed like a few years ago, they were just way super bubbly.
Because after this one, I was like, I don't know if they got another 9 years in them. I don't know if they're gonna make it through that.
I was sad. I was like, this might be one that's gonna be wrapping up pretty soon. But then when he said that and I looked it up, I was like, oh geez, it's just been a really rough year. But apparently he's doing a lot better, and he's like, which is amazing. Also, I wanted to make note of this. Chris Harrison always asks, have you watched your person's season? Have you watched their previous season or whatever? And every single person says no. Every spouse or partner says, no, I have not watched. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The only person who I actually believe has never watched their partner's season is Grayston. He's the only person I believe who hasn't watched it. Everyone else, I think they're full of shit. They've secretly watched a couple episodes or watched on YouTube clips. Come on.
I know.
Gray is the only one that I know who has like the capacity to kind of just be like, No, I'm fine. I'm just not going to do it.
Which I hate. I try to convince him every day to watch it. Literally every week I go, please watch my season with me. Please just revel in how cute and funny I am. Ugh.
You know that he'd fall in love with you all over again if he'd watch it. And then
or it might just be really embarrassing. He'd probably just clown on me the whole time. Like, all I can think about is that one scene where I said, what did I say? I said I was like simple, drama free, and something else. I can't remember. And it's just like the biggest goddamn lie in the whole universe. And he'd probably just be like, yeah.
But you were so charming in it that it's kind of like,
you gotta say what you gotta say to trap him.
Yeah, of course. It's all about manipulation and lies here.
First 3 months are first 3 months are your stage. You make yourself whoever you want, so they will fall in love with you, and then you have them get you pregnant, and then from there it's the rest is history.
I mean, honestly, Bekah, if I was on the show, it'd be like first thing I'd say to the guys, it would just be like, I'm not sensitive. I love a good hike. I love the outdoors. Honestly, for me, partying, not a thing. And I just like a simple night at home, and I hate gossip. The worst.
No. Would never say a bad thing about another person.
I would just serve them a tote full of lies.
Honestly, how do I picture the rest of my life? In a little beautiful cottage in Maryland, 5 children, and I'll suck your dick like 3 times a day.
At least for me, it's a joy. I'm overcome by how much I love doing it.
My 2 passions in life: cooking and
the great outdoors.
The great outdoors. Yeah.
Gotcha.
3 things. Yeah. Cooking, the outdoors, and sucking dick. 2 of these things are lies, but you won't figure out which 2 until we're together.
Hopefully the one that is actually true. We'll keep it working. Because 2 are very false.
I mean, honestly, Brad probably would have been into it. He'd probably been like, oh, you're a girl who can hold her drink and just wants to have a good time.
Maybe Brad and I are soulmates, and sometime we'll meet. When he's old enough for me, I'll find him.
Maybe in another life.
Maybe in another 10 years.
When
he's a ripe 60.
I mean, he looks like he is just aging like a fine wine, getting hotter by the second.
Oh, my Lord.
How old is he now? I'm going to look it up right now. And then let's talk about
the final. Oh, we got to talk about, oh my goodness, we have to talk about.
He doesn't have social media, which I hate. I was trying to find his
I hate
Instagram.
it, but it's also wonderful.
Attractive.
So attractive.
Yeah, he's 47.
Oh, that's, get him to 53 and I'm in.
Get him to 72 with a retirement fund. A fat retirement fund. I will be all over that.
Okay, so next we can chat Chantel. I mean,
I thought he would actually be really good. Like, I thought she would actually be a good pick for him.
I agree. I think they would have been really good together. I remember her being super charming. I remember liking her a lot. And oh yeah, she was married before too. So then
that's right.
Yeah. And I thought that would be like almost good for him too, to have someone who's had the experience of marriage before and kind of is, I don't know. It made sense to me. Mm-hmm. But there's not much to say about their relationship. No. It looked like it worked.
It looked like it worked and it didn't.
And yet, alas, well, not alas, because I love, that he chose Emily, but also that didn't work. So alas again. But Emily Maynard.
Also, that was interesting, by the way, that they asked her to be Bachelorette and she said no.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can't believe I forgot. Okay.
That was tea.
That was such tea. The fact that she said yes, and then she went on a blind date and found her person and was like, I can't do this. I
know. And they're still together 8 years later.
I mean, and the fact that she wasn't like, hey, honey, come into the screen, made me like her even more. She was kind of like, yeah, no, we're happy. We're good. I love him. And she seems super cool.
Yeah. I agree.
Just shut
I like
that
her.
shit down. And I have major respect because if I would have gone on a blind date and met Evan, I still would have become the Bachelorette.
Yeah, see, for me, it was like Paradise. It was like, it might not work out so well for me. Bachelorette? Are you kidding? Bye-bye, Grayston. Bye-bye, literally anyone. Don't care.
Bye. I'm hitting the road. If you're here when I get back, then we'll figure it out. But I have other things that I need to tend to.
Other responsibilities. Yeah. No to the Bachelorette. What? She must have just really fallen for him.
She must
How
have really
special.
loved him. And it worked. I mean, it's so sweet. So lovely. Okay. So Emily Maynard, the most blonde, most white-toothed human there ever
Most
was.
white tooth. Glad you said that. I was about to add it on, and you took the words right out of my mouth. Right out of my yellow teethed mouth. It's like the only time where I've actually felt like extremely insecure watching someone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like a witch teeth in comparison. I'm immediately looking up like Crest White strips. What's the one we advertise for? I can't think of what it's called. High Smile. Yeah, I was like, I gotta pop my High Smile back in. Oh shit.
I didn't have it with me or else I would have. I was in the middle of watching this and I paused it and I went to the bathroom and stared at my teeth in the mirror and I was like, God, oh my God.
Like, does she have veneers? What was the situation with that?
They looked like maybe they were because they were so perfect, but also maybe she just has that good of teeth and they're that
But she
white.
also sort of has this way of talking. It's just her natural way of talking that sort of seems like she has fake teeth in.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. Whoever did, if they are fake, they are a beautiful job.
Oh, great.
And they're so white. And if not, I need to find out wherever she went. And honestly, even if it hurts like hell, I'll do it. The next time you'll see me on this Zoom, I'll just be like, and then you're just going to be fucking blinded. Just to death.
Just lights bouncing off your teeth.
You're going to see God in my teeth.
I mean, I've always liked Emily. I didn't watch her season or watch her with Brad, but I watched some of her season after I was with Ari on his season. I was like, oh, I got to go back and like watch.
Yeah, of course.
Which is so good. I really hope they do a GOAT episode.
They better do an Emily episode. It's
so
one of the best ones. One of the best.
And what I like about her is that I think she's not just a pretty face. Like I really like, I mean, you see it come out a lot more on her season, but she like shuts shit down. Like if it's, like she's very kind, very respectful and sweet and pretty, but she also seems like someone who can stand her ground.
Absolutely. I remember really liking her on Brad's. And then once she had her own season, I was like, wow, like you said, this is not just a pretty face. Like she is a like strong woman and I loved her. And she was she was fun. It was a fun season with her for sure.
Yeah.
But they start talking and that's when I'm reminded, and I can't believe I forgot. There's so many things that I forgot. But when they start talking about Emily's past. And
oh my goodness.
I forgot about her story. And if you didn't watch the GOAT episode and you're just listening, what happened with Emily is that she said she fell in love and like the love of her life. She's like, I've been in love once. It was the love of my life. And he was a race car driver and she would travel with.
By the way, part of what made her season so crazy with Ari, because Ari was also a race car driver.
That was wild. I remember that. That was a crazy added piece. And she would normally travel with him when he'd fly and go do dates everywhere. And the one day that she was like, I'm going to stay back, and he left, the plane took off and it never landed. And then a few days after he passed away, she found out that she was pregnant.
Like something out of an extremely sad Hallmark movie. Can you believe?
It was the most heartbreaking. I remember watching it in real time and being like, this is the most heartbreaking thing ever. And also thinking like, what an incredible gift her daughter is to her to like have that.
Oh my God, I have chills. I have goosebumps.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just like, that was a mess. Like that's a gift that she will forever have in memory of like the love of her life. And yeah.
That is so sad. Oh my God.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And Brad immediately, because at this point he was like, I really like her, but it's all been kind of top level. And then she's like, this is why I hold my cards a little closer. And as soon as he said that, Brad was like over the moon and was just like, oh my gosh, who are you? You're just like this angel on earth. And then he finds out that she does have Ricky, her daughter, who's 5. And so then Brad is introduced to Ricky. And I remember watching this and being so anxious watching it because Ricky, of course, like ran behind her mom. There's cameras there. There's this guy. And she was and Emily was like, it's okay. Come out. And she's trying. And I'm thinking now watching it as a mom I'm
being
like,
anxious.
The pressure.
Jess, that was my thought 100% as well. That was 100% the perspective I was seeing it from as a mom. I'd be like, oh my God, just like, please be nice to him. Like, don't be weird. Don't be weird.
Like, she's normally so friendly and outgoing and like, she's just hiding. Oh gosh. On national television, like the level of pressure. The level of pressure would be just insane.
Like, please don't be mean or rude to him or like, oh God. Just please do something cute. Please do something cute.
And thank goodness. And he brought her a gift. And then,
I mean, I think thankfully for Emily, since she is so perfect and put together, I doubt she got that much scrutiny and everyone probably just loved her. But can you just imagine being under the microscope of like being a mother, introducing your kid to someone new and like, oh.
I'm sure she got shit for being the Bachelor in general. Bachelorette, excuse me, in general.
But she brought her daughter with her, which again, I think made people love her a lot more. Yeah. She brought her daughter along with her throughout the whole thing when they were traveling and everything. I guess they just had like some nanny on deck.
I'm not crying. It's so beautiful.
Wait, what did they do for the Fantasy Suites week? I don't remember, but like, okay, we're sending you home to grandma now.
Her grandparent? Yeah, I think maybe her grandparents took her, if I remember correctly.
See, she kind of got set up thankfully, to look pretty good.
Well,
but I mean, like, she seems like an incredible person, incredible mom.
Yeah, so she seems wonderful. But thank goodness Brad brought a gift and Ricky started to come out of her shell. And I just have to say, I couldn't stop laughing with this. But when he was getting interviewed and he said, I've never been in a relationship with anyone who has a child. And then he's like, I love the fact that little Ricky is in the equation. And he kept saying little Ricky. He kept calling her little Ricky. And then I just was imagining him being like, I've never been in a relationship with anyone who's had a child before. But now that I know the fact that little Denise is in the equation, and then like a good person off of camera being like, her name's not Denise. It's not Denise. And him like continually, I just imagine him calling her the wrong name the entire time, like tucking her in and being like, good night, little Denise. Like, Brad, it's Ricky. Oh, sorry. Little Denise, did you get your toothbrush?
Isn't that what they call the son on I Love Lucy? Don't they little Ricky? Isn't that what they call him from I Love Lucy? It's like, was that where he got it from? Why is he calling her little Ricky?
I don't know why there's always little. Maybe Emily calls her that because I think Ricky was her dad's
little
name.
Ember.
Little Ember. But,
like small Ricky, big.
Yeah, but it's also just him with his cadence and his accent and the way he just was like.
Ricky.
He was always just like, oh, it was a true joy being around little Ricky. I loved having little Ricky in the equation. I just knew that I fell in love with Emily the second that I saw her mothering little Ricky. I couldn't stop laughing.
That is so good. So good.
But it was so sweet. And I remember just watching it, having a heart, and not being a parent yet, but having a heart so full. And now watching it being a mom. See, if you saw all of a sudden this guy that you were falling in love with start to really interact lovingly with your child and your child responding well to this person, like, a heart melt.
So it's interesting because, all right, so he breaks up with Chantel.
Yes.
which for some reason I don't really remember what happened with that breakup.
She had a wild applique on the side of her dress, which was a choice.
Yeah, that was crazy. Truly.
It was a choice, especially since Emily was in white and she was in black, and it made her almost look like a villain.
Totally.
It was
very
like a
much feathery thing, right?
Yeah, it looked like there was almost like a crow perched on her shoulder, like she was like Maleficent or something. And it was like, Chantel, you're not the villain. Why are they making it look like good and evil right now? Like it was so, but she is the brunette, so obviously.
Yes. Yes.
But it was pretty basic. She was really sad, and
and he had to dump someone at the
and he shut it down pretty quick.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I was gonna say I don't think there was anything really notable about it. Now, what's interesting about the Emily thing, when he's talking later, he says something like, I probably called her 200 times after the breakup. And I'm like, wait, did she break up with him?
It seems perhaps that might have been the case.
It does.
Yeah.
That's sort of the vibe I've got. Because also, like, his recollection of it, the way they each, so when they talk to Emily later, she's just kind of like, I don't know, her attitude is just sort of like, well, like that whole thing. And
she's like, oh, Brad.
But then she said, like, I don't have anything bad to say about him. So I'm like, okay. And then the way that he relayed it, like putting two and two together, I was like, I definitely think that she broke up with him and then was having to deal with him post breakup and just dealing with all that. But she's like, I have nothing bad to say about him. But yeah, it probably was true that he was like, please, like,
he seemed like he definitely wanted her back. And she's just like, honestly, he wouldn't stop calling my daughter Little Ricky, and it was driving me nuts.
It seemed like she was kind of like, hearing her reflect back on it, seemed like she was sort of over it. It was just kind of interesting.
Because, you're so right. Because then when Brad was talking with Chris, he was like, I was so in love with Emily. I was so in love with him. And Emily was a little bit like, well, you know, I'm sure he felt pressure to propose to somebody. And Brad was like, no, I was in love with her. I called her 1,000 times afterwards. Seems like there's something we're not hearing. Maybe a little Bradster made a little slip up at one of his nightclubs or bars. Got a little too friendly.
Interesting.
And Emily said, no, shut that shit down. And,
interesting theory.
And Brad was like, no, God, please, no.
Me and Gray were talking. We're like, why the hell would he want to get engaged to someone anyway? Like, he is living the Bachelor dream on a regular basis. He's this super hot guy who owns a bunch of restaurants and clubs in Austin, Texas. Like, he's living the dream.
Sorry. The man has gotten very close to the window.
The gardener guy?
I don't know if people could see the shadow walking by. I was like... Oh my God. And we're just trying to just podcasting on the move. But yes, I know, I completely agree. I don't know why but maybe it seems though now he's ready. When he then was with Chris talking and he was like, this is my lady, and like shoved her into the picture, and they met at the gym, and it's
love that he asked her on a date the day he heard that she broke up with her boyfriend.
I mean, some people might... Yep. Some people might say intense. I say turn on.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I hope most people would think that that's a turn on, because it's literally like he was just waiting for her to be single, because that's how into her he was.
Yes, and he was being respectful, not doing anything before, but then the second that...
I loved his little speech about being respectful. I don't know. I don't think he cheated on Emily.
You're probably right. I just like to add the drama. It probably was just what they said, where they just wanted two different things. He probably wanted to keep living his nightclub bar lifestyle, and she's like a mom at home who probably goes to bed because she's exhausted by like 9.
Yeah, she wanted 4 kids. Maybe he doesn't want kids.
Maybe not. Maybe he just wanted little Ricky, and that was it. He's like, I'm not looking to do... I'm not looking to do the infant stage again. So this works out perfectly for me. I don't know.
I mean, he hasn't had kids, still hasn't gotten married. I mean, yeah, he's living it up in Austin.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's doing his thing in his fancy ass kitchen.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Emily, then we saw her, and when she was talking to Chris and she brought in her whole load of children, I loved it so much. She's like, yeah, there's a lot of them. It's exhausting. And she pulls them all in and they're all like climbing on top of each other. And I love that Chris is trying to talk to her and she's not even paying attention to him. She's like looking off and she's like, hey, whatever, like talking to someone else.
Well, I was on her Instagram and I believe she said something that she and her husband have only been together 5 years and I think they have 3 kids under 5. Wow. It's a lot.
Cranking them out. It does seem like then I would have to agree with you, Bekah. It seems like Emily wanted a bunch of babies. You cracked the case. That's what it is.
Detective Bekah.
Brad only wanted the 1. She wanted the 17.
Well, anything else?
I think that was it. Oh, the one time that then Chris Harrison teases Brad about being the Bachelor for the 3rd time. I'm not going to lie to you. For a moment, my heart dropped and I was like, wait, is this for real?
I would watch it 100%. I would love it.
I would for sure go on it.
Oh.
Like, I'd be like,
right.
What?
I'll be there right with you.
He'll be there it'll take a couple years because we have Matt and another Bachelorette. At this point, he'll be about 50, ripe, perfect.
Just eventually start backing away from your relationship with Ember and Evan.
Yeah, I've been working on it. So
start distancing yourself from them.
I'm like, it's just social distancing. It's because of the COVID. I just have to start taking steps back. I'm
actually going to get my own apartment.
I just feel like it's healthy. Like, I don't mean emotionally. I mean, literally, physically, it would be good for us right now because of everything going on. So, just a thought.
I support you.
Thank you. I can't wait till you join me on it. We can
got a little bit of work to do, but
maybe we can
now.
I mean, we can go on as a duo,
we
can be like the twins except we're like Chatty Broads duo.
I like that.
So he'll have to choose either both of us or none, and then you and I will have a full falling out because we'll both fall in love with him, and then he'll be like, no, we'll be secretly telling him, no, you can just choose me. It's fine. You can ditch her.
And we're just plugging Chatty Broads throughout the whole season.
I just give the producer I'm like, okay, when I come out of the limo, can you play this track? And it's just like da 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 da.
We're talking with him and we're like, well, actually, I know you've talked so much about therapy. We had this amazing episode on my podcast. It's called Chatty Broads, where we talk about that. We're just constantly plugging it in conversation.
After he
wearing
gives us
merch,
a rose, we're like, chat soon.
Chat soon, broads. The camera.
We call all the other girls the Broad Squad, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're not friends with you. You are the villain of this season. How are you missing that?
Oh my God. Well, I'm so excited for Allie's in 2 weeks, but next week again, we'll be doing Sean's, which is a great season as well. And like I said, Thursday, we will be going over Claire's guys. And I cannot wait because, again, we don't have their fucking bios. So we will just be going off of photos, which I'm excited
Okay, except reality, we might want to go through Reality Steve because I guess he has a T on a bunch of them. I was going through his Twitter last night. So
beautiful. Okay.
He's got the whole rundown on who's who. So
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steven.
With that, broads, looking forward to chatting soon.
Can't wait and chat soon, broads.